one reason I did that is that I don't like shit shows.
Take me to that 6-year grind to get to 1 million.
Any entrepreneur has that idea that it's going to be an instant success, right? I like to focus on one thing, making it as good as I can.
I had Jason Fried on and I'm asking him, would you ever build the product that you don't use yourself? And he said no.
We were building it for people like us. And yes, fall in love with your idea.
All right, I'm here with Philippe Lehoux. He is the co-founder and CEO of Missive app, which is an inbox collaboration tool for teams that run on email. They're doing 7.5 million in ARR, 15 people, lean, bootstrapped, started the company in 2015. And so 9 years ago, previously, he, for example, sold his company ConferenceBadge to Tiny, Andrew Wilkinson, in 2023. And I wanted to have Philippe on because obviously you've been bootstrapping, you're very lean, you've been in this game for a while. And I also see you now being very active on LinkedIn podcasts. And this is the Founder-Led Marketing Show. So I want to dive into all of that. But thank you for joining. And in that intro, anything to correct or amend?
I mean, that's one part of my journey, but no, perfect. Starting with the big numbers is a good way to catch people's attention.
Always got to hook people with the big numbers. You previously wrote that bootstrapping is choosing your own business rather than instant freedom. What was that in Missive's early journey like? What does that maybe prison still look like today? 9 years later, profitable, growing. If you want to expand on that a little bit.
Well, my daily schedule right now looks pretty much the same as in the early days. I'm someone that tends to focus on problems, and it seems that the more you grow, there are still more and more problems. So yeah, I think picking the bootstrapping journey, one reason I did that is that I don't like shit shows. I like to live a comfortable and stress less life, although that's obviously the goal, and it's not something you could pretty much achieve, but that's the goal. And I always felt that raising money would propel me in a really stressful situation, having less control. And so I'd say that's probably the reason I picked that journey. So pretty much how I'm internally wired guide me to that route. But yeah.
I mean, you also have 4 kids, I think. So
well, yeah, it's not stress free. that part I got wrong.
Yeah. You also got declined by YC twice, I think in 2013 and 2017.
I think we applied 3 times.
Okay, there you go. So 3 rejections.
Yeah, we got 2 interviews, but 3 rejection. Yeah.
How are you happy you got rejected in hindsight? What have you learned from applying and getting rejected?
I mean, my life would be completely different, I would assume. I think we had everything as a team to be extremely successful in such a program because we were extremely fast learner. We have no issue pivoting or trying or being creative. I guess I'm extremely satisfied with where I am now. So the answer is probably yes. But I would assume that the journey would have been as interesting or maybe even more having done this other way. Yeah. So no regrets, but no.
You're definitely open to applying to YC at some point again if the right business idea opportunity comes along?
I think at some point we stopped applying because we felt that the YC spirit kind of changed at some point. Between 2009 and 2000, let's say 13, 14, it was a community I was looking for a lot because of Paul Graham and all of the early success they had. But then eventually it became at least it felt to be more standardized, right? So partner change, but spirit stays the same. And it feels like they're grinding through many startups and felt like less for us. But I have absolutely no idea how it is run or what the program is from internally. So basically I have no clue. But at some point we felt like we didn't want to apply anymore. And I don't think I would apply even with a new project.
Yeah. And I think the way I understand it, you started ConferenceBadge, which is kind of like a physical product business. You actually print.
Kind of. Kind of. So like ConferenceBadge was an idea I got while organizing like game hackathon in Quebec City for a few years. And every year, I mean, you're kind of like trying to make an event work. Like budget is low, you don't have any money, so like the day before, like you do everything yourself. And so I was printing the name badges with my partner, and I was like, that sucks, man. How can like we don't have any time to do that? It's so complex and it's so useless. But like we do need some kind of name badges. And so at that point, I decided to create a like GS SVG editor to kind of do that, plus some ability to merge like a spreadsheet with it. And so I said kind of physical because most of the profit actually were from user pretty much just using it to generate a PDF and printing that PDF using like kits you can find at Staples. So Avery kits, like anybody having ever done a conference with what I'm talking about, Avery kits, it's pretty much like pre-cut a sheet of paper with like plastic holders.
Yep.
And we were pretty much just exporting PDF, and that was like 80% of our profit. So like the physical part of the business was good, but most of the money was coming from the virtual part.
Interesting. Yeah. And so I think you bootstrapped that to almost $1 million in revenue before COVID.
And then before COVID hit. Yeah, probably $1.5 million before COVID. Then obviously it crashed.
Yeah.
And went to zero. And that's the first time I tried to sell it. Obviously it didn't work. And then during COVID is also the point where Missive started to be a more solid business for three co-founders. And that's pretty much when like we start paying ourselves with Missive instead of ConferenceBadge. And then after COVID, we had a full-time employees with ConferenceBadge, and our goal was for him like to bring it back to $1 million, but he decided to leave. So it was like, okay, we either like put a lot of energy to get back to a nice level, or we just like sell it.
Right. And so during COVID, what Missive reached then like $1 million in ARR too, roughly, so that you can pay yourself from it?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's 2021 that we got to $1 million ARR. Yeah.
So you started, I think, ConferenceBadge in 2012. Later on, 3 years later in 2015, you started Missive, which you run now. You ran them in parallel for, 6 years, 7 years, even longer. Yeah. And then COVID hit. Missive was starting to grow a little bit more, so you could take more of a salary from there. At the same time, ConferenceBadge dipped because of COVID, and then that hire who was supposed to grow, it didn't work out. So you decided to focus all on Missive and sell ConferenceBadge, and obviously that's where Tiny and Andrew Wilkinson came in, and sounds like it was a fast deal.
Yeah, to their. I think it's kind of how they sell themselves. Is that
right?
It's no bullshit.
Yeah, he's the real deal. So DM.
At least for my own experience, absolutely. Yeah. And I was no bullshit as well. I knew that because we were kind of selling a product that dipped and then kind of made its way back to where it was before COVID, just not up exactly to that point. We were no employees. Like, here's the code, here's the process, here's the printing partner, here it goes. Yeah. Like, obviously, like the multiples we could get couldn't be that nice. But for us, it was more advantageous to first have that in our pedigree. Like, we did go through that kind of lean M&A process. It's kind of a good experience that I wanted to have, and made good money. But I would probably have made more money keeping it and running it on the side.
Interesting.
Probably, yeah.
Interesting. Now, tell me, and this is not, so you started Missive in 2015. At around 2021, so 6 years later, you're at roughly $1 million in ARR, with your two co-founders. Now, I'm trying to figure out how to ask this question without sounding like it's an insult, because it's not. But I think most founders would look at that 6 years later. You're at $1 million in ARR. It's not the crazy hyper growth story that people see. It's also it's probably where most companies actually are. It's not the sexy story that people see on LinkedIn. I don't know, Cursor scaling to 100 million in a couple months. So it's not like the common story. During that 6-year period, like, were you doubting yourself? Were you happy? Were you excited? Did you feel like, man, this is kind of not the right thing? Maybe we should pivot. Like, take me to that 6-year grind to get to $1 million.
Of course. So first, why we worked on Missive, because basically we had a profitable product called ConferenceBadge that we could probably have grow to, I don't know, 10 million. There's an infinite amount of conference just in the United States, and our customer wasn't just a conference. It's like churches, sales rep. Like, we had a bunch of customer, but that the only reason we did not want to invest more in that, it's for us, it was a done product. It was a simple product, product market fit. We got to it quickly. We didn't want to invest more on it, on the tech side of it. We didn't want to be sales rep for it. Like, it was just like something we took as a way to level up to something else. And because we had that sustainable revenue source, we said, okay, why not work on something that is maybe harder to achieve, but is, like, on the technical side more fun to do, and that you can actually dog food yourself. Like, you make ConferenceBadge yearly. If you organize a conference,
right,
you pretty much live in your email client every single day, right? So there's an inner motivation that is extremely big working on a tool you can dog food all days. And so that's one reason we decided to work on Missive. It's like, okay, we can level up to this. That would not have been possible without ConferenceBadge, but let's use ConferenceBadge as an opportunity to work on that.
Yep.
And then obviously, like, when we first launched in 2016, I was like any entrepreneur has that idea that it's going to be an instant success, right? Like, that's why you do it. Right? You're like, well, I'm going to post that. Like, 2015, 16 was kind of when Product Hunt was still at early days, still kind of like the nice place to launch product. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm basically going to post that there, and it's going to be like crazy massive success. Right? And obviously it wasn't like a crazy success, but it was just good enough to find a few customers. Like, I think we found like 5 customers, and to this day 2 are still paying.
Wow.
So yeah.
Wow.
So, like, not real traction, and for a few months no ability to see that we could sustain ourselves, but still find a few customers that we could have conversation with to start the process of iterating based on customer feedback. And because we were kind of isolated from like financial pressure, a bit like a VC-backed company with Runaway would be, we could go into that cycle without a lot of pressure. It would be just like, okay, basically, how can we make that better for like the 5 customer we have? And then we just start to iterate. And an email client is basically an infinite source of possibilities. Like, I listened to your pod with Jason Fried before. And you know how he talks about like, it should not be about featureless. Like, it should be like, the scope should be small. That's something that took a lot of time for us to internalize. Like, at first we were like, any single thing a customer would tell us, we do it. We need to do it, right? We need to make them happy. And it took a long time to actually get to a point where we had enough confidence in what we were building. And also because we were dog fooding ourselves, that it was like, okay, maybe that customer is not a good fit, right? You need to be extremely confident in your business journey to start making those decisions. Like, because you're so much craving for those early customer that it's preposterous to think that you would just like say, no,
we're not going to build it.
We're not building for you. Like he's the only one showing interest. You're telling them no. So obviously at first we we didn't do that. We start to learn to do that. But yeah, it took, let's say, roughly two years of like, I remember a conversation with my brother, who's a developer working for a startup in the United States, and every month he was like, "Hey, so how's Missive?" And I was like, "Well, like I don't know, like 200 MR, right?" It's like you're so far away from building something sustainable.
You mean 200K or 200?
No, $200 at first. I remember for a few
Yeah.
months, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like at first the subscription was like $5 to like $10 seats.
Yeah.
And most of our early users were solo user,
Right.
not at all in our target audience. It's just like people loving trying new email clients, right? And
Right.
experimenting and like seeing the potential and like wanting to help. And so for months, it's just the reason we persist for months, and I say probably years before getting to like a sustainable place, is because we were dog fooding it. And we even had a conversation that the three co-founders, initially we were four co-founders,
Mm-hmm.
and one started to say like, hey, it's not working, we should focus on ConferenceBadge,
Mm-hmm.
we should stop working on Missive. And I think that the three of us that stayed was like, Etienne, one of my co-founders, said, well, even if we stop working on Missive during the day, I'll probably still work on it like nights and weekend. And I was like, yeah, me too. I kind of really love working on that thing. Like
Wow.
I don't really care actually if we never get customers. It's just something I love crafting, right? And I think that point was a really core moment in our like business journey. Is like the moment we accepted that it would be a long-term thing. Like we're
Wow.
not doing that for short-term success, right? And yeah, that conversation, and that's when we bought our initial designer. We bought back his share because it's like,
Mm-hmm.
guys, I like to work on stuff. I'm creative. Now I feel like Missive is just like iterating.
Mm-hmm.
Like I it's not what I'm best at. So I want to do something else. And so we bought his shares, and that was probably a year or two in the
Yeah.
life of Missive.
I mean, it
And then
sounds
yeah,
like you realize, I think some people say you found your sweet spot when you kind of work on something that you would keep working on even if no one paid you for it. And it
yeah.
sounds like with this, like, I'd keep working on it on weekends is basically that. So you realize that you were just,
Yeah, and I feel like when you watch the indie maker scene right now, it's like the Crave is launching as many product as
yeah,
possible. And I love Level.io, but
yep,
I'm probably like the opposite of that guy, in the sense that I don't like to have a billion thing going on. To me, it's stressful. I like to focus on one thing. Like I like to making it as good as I can. And I think Level.io is extremely intelligent,
yep,
right? And what it's doing is extremely hard to achieve. But I feel in that movement, the baseline seems to be that nowadays, instead
right,
of like crafting something that you deeply care about. Like, I don't know, like chasing like the how many startups about like, I don't know, pushing stuff on Reddit or LinkedIn have been launched by indie maker in the last like 5 years. It's like they're all doing the same thing. And I think it's a massive mistake. And it's like it's energy draining to always trying to do something new. So I think that was one of our really big quality here, is just the ability to sustain working extremely hard on one project for a long time,
mm-hmm.
even to the point that when success finally hit, and for me, the definition of success wasn't a million ARR. For some reason, ARR, I wasn't even never really thinking
Mm-hmm.
about that. It was like MRR, and it was 100K. Like
Yeah.
that was
1.2.
kind of my, yeah,
Yeah.
like the day we're making that, well, it's like life is solved, right?
Yeah.
And that kind of happened during COVID. And I had two goals in life. Was I, for some reason, I wanted to have like a large family, and also want to have like to have success in tech. And that definition of success for me was kind of 100K bootstrap. And when I got to that point, it's the moment I think I was the most depressed in my life, because I realized, well, nothing actually changed, right? Like that goal I was chasing is actually useless, because like I'm still, remember, I'm doing that for the long term. I'm loving doing that. I'm not planning to sell Missive. Like it's not like I'm trying to reach a goal to do something else. Like I gotta love the journey. And I think at some point maybe I've realized, okay, maybe growing that team with that business with such a small team without me realizing became unsustainable. And I think like once I hit that goal, that became kind of like that realization that we were maybe working not too much, but maybe not in a good way or in a sustainable way. So hitting that target like kind of made all of the problem I could just ignore like surface again. And that's around the time that we start to hire people, and we failed miserably for the first year and a half. And then I think it's now more than a bit less than 2 years that we successfully like start to hire people and have a real business.
Nice.
And I think like we start to hire people successfully, and we were like at 4 million. So it's just illustrate like you don't really need to be that good of an entrepreneur to succeed in tech. You pretty much need to build a good product people want. You need to be good at listening to, being empathic to customer problems that I think we're good at. Being able to to craft something. But like managing people, God, I was bad. I think I'm still not good.
But you're happy that you now have 15.
Oh, yeah.
So 12 employees, 15 people total, or 15 employees, 18 people total?
15 total. Yeah.
Okay. But you're happy with it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just at some point when you can't delegate, like if you're 3 co-founders, you can't delegate. We all had our area of expertise, and we were pretty much trying to do everything in those areas by ourselves. And we did that for years, and it worked, but eventually we kind of got like a lot of our pride was in that fact. Maybe we don't have the craziest growth rate, but show me a business at 7.5 million, or at that time 4 million, with 3 people. Like that was kind of like what made us like proud, right?
Yeah.
And maybe that's why we some ego was involved there, and that's why we for a long time like decided not. I mean, people find me stupid on the internet. Like, why haven't you hired people at marketing before? Like, you're stupid, right? You could have grown that thing way faster, right? With some marketing people like a few years before, probably,
or not.
But
lots of companies wasting lots of time on marketing before they have real product market fit. But okay,
I call it the fake work. There's a lot of fake work in startup. Fake work.
You work on a product you enjoy working on. You reached your 100K MRR goal long ago. You now hired some people to actually take some pressure off and to not work unsustainable amounts. What's your goal now? Like what gets you excited? What are you working towards?
Okay, so like before I answer that questions, I'm not a goal-oriented person, even though I said like that 100K figure was kind of abstract in my mind. Was not like something I put down on paper. It's really hard for me to put goals on paper because they change every day. Like I feel like I'm not goal-oriented. I'm intrinsically motivated by I never wake up and like what I'm gonna do, like, cause I never, right? So I don't really need goals for self-motivation. So right now, I guess I've internalized the fact that we have a lot of customers that really love the product. And I think I'm kind of angry at myself that it's not more popular for some reason. But we still get customers from massively fun startups, established company, and they still choose us, right? But I feel like everybody should use the product. It's so great. It's so fun to use. I mean, if you're SMBs and like your operation are based on emails, to me, it should be the de facto way you should like work. And I talked to so many people just in the normal life situation that I explain what Missive is, and they have no clue, and it's even hard for them to comprehend. But I know for a fact they would gain a lot from using it. So yeah, I'm trying to be a better advocate for my own product. Like trying to be a better advocate is probably one of my goals. And it's hard for me because I'm not a sales guy. We were not, like the three of us there. We're definitely not sales guy. Like we're not good at selling product or even ideas. Like I don't know. Yeah. So is that a good answer? I don't know.
I think so. Do you have a number there, like 1 million users, or I don't know?
I don't like numbers.
Okay, it's just like you're proud of your product and you want more people to know about it and use it.
Yeah.
Is that also the reason why? I mean, maybe that was just me finding you now, but I also feel like, I mean, you're very active on LinkedIn. I saw you on a couple podcasts. I saw you on Wes Bush's show. I think that's how I found you. Like, it looks like you're really like out there now, creating content, podcasts. Is that
those things compound. Like when you start doing them, like you reached out and I did not. So like those things, like you do one and then there's another one. And I think, yes, when you build something, you should put it out there. And
but
like,
was this an active decision that came in tandem with that realization that you just wish more people knew about it, or have you always been kind of creating content, writing on LinkedIn?
No. That's I would say a new thing. Like we are actively creating content, trying to create content. And you find your own voice and ideas by kind of writing them down. And before it's just like a lot of people would ask me why it's working, like why ConferenceBadge, why Missive, why the thing you worked on works, right? And still to this day, I have a hard time to come with an answer to those questions. I'm not really sure, right? I'm not really sure. I mean, there's definitely, because we're self-driven and we care a lot about customer and we made customer kind of our bosses in some ways. But so many people do that and it's not really working. And we did not
You've
do
also
the
been at it
usual
for 9 years, right? It's not like you've been iterating and grinding and adding and polishing and improving and
yeah, but that can't just be it. Like else everybody would have success.
Well, I think I mean my point is like you were dog fooding the product, and so that meant if you guys used the product and you enjoyed the product, that there's at least an N of 3 of people who want this product. And so if you believe that you 3 are the unique 3 only people in the world who would like this and there's literally no one else, I mean, I feel like that's just a lot less likely than, there's just a certain segment of people, including you 3, that enjoy this kind of experience. And then it's just a matter of kind of getting it there.
So the answer would be like dog food your products, like never work on something you're not.
I mean, that's the lesson from the Basecamp guys, right? I had Jason Fried on and I'm asking him, would you ever build a product that you don't use yourself? And he said no.
Yeah, no, same.
Yeah. Are you inspired by those guys? It definitely, I got a little bit of that vibe from like your website and obviously the bootstrapping and all that.
Yes. I had a kind of, and I seems like it's something a lot of people have. It's like when you haven't achieved your goals, I just said I don't have goals, but like kind of like it's hard to, like, I had both admiration and some frustration. I would probably qualify this as jealousy in the sense that those, like, it's pretty rare that they said something I was not fully agreeing to. But before you find yourself in a position of success, there's always a backtrack in your mind that say, well, maybe they can say that because they did have the success, right?
Right. Survivorship bias.
Maybe that's not achievable. And there's always that tension to the point where, like, I would even sometimes mute DHH on Twitter for some reason. Because it's like he seems to do everything right.
Mm,
I mean, I'm saying that. I feel stupid to say that, but that was true. I'm sure there's a lot of people in my in the exact same position. Like when you're trying to do something and you have those people that have had a lot of success, not just one time, but for years, and do so consistently and with extreme moral principles, like you want that. So like the answer is definitely yes,
yeah.
definitely inspired by those guys
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
weird way.
There's a new
And
6 hour
when we
podcast
launch,
with DHH now.
yeah, I listen to. I think I'll listen to 10 minutes at a time. I mean, there's so much good content in every single word he puts out in those
Yeah.
six. Like, you can't listen to that for like more than 30 minutes. So I think I'll do like 30 minutes bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when we launched Conference Badge, I did like mention. I think it was Jason. We launched the website, and I reply under my own tweet. Hey, Jason, look at our website, and he retweeted. I tried to find that tweet. I never could, but I mean, I did not dream of that. It really helped our launch of Conference Badge. He tweeted something like, "This is the best homepage I've ever seen in my life."
Oh, wow.
So that was a really, really great moment. I remember we launched Conference Badge, and then we went to the restaurant, and then we were ordering the food, and like I said, oh my god, like this is like 2013, right? I was like, Jason Free just retweeted, like it's the best homepage. But that was like Badge was exactly that. Extremely simple product that you could explain in a few words that made just a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Those are the best one.
Yeah.
I think that's something like that he said in his tweet, and it's what Andrew also said when he announced that he acquired Conference Badge. It was like, this is, I think, the first time I explain a product I'm buying to my mom, and she get it in like a minute.
Yeah.
It's extremely simple, right?
Yeah.
So yes, definitely inspired by those guys.
Have you learned anything? And maybe again, this is survivorship bias, but Missive is, I mean, I feel like as horizontal of an app as you can build. I mean, it's email. Like a big company could use it, a small company could use it, a team within a company could use it, a freelancer could maybe use it with their clients. Any industry could use it. Like, I think the standard advice would be like niche down, build it for engineering teams at startups to collaborate, or build it for, I don't know, right? Like, and
Finance or lawyers.
yeah,
Or
exactly. But it looks like you guys haven't done that. Have you learned anything about like how to get traction for something that's like so broad but also so generic that, like, I mean, you can't really have an ICP. It's
I
just
think,
like everyone who uses email is technically
yeah.
an
So
ICP.
yeah, okay. So the IC is well. It first there's the word teams. So teams that
Yeah.
have like email as that, where email is central to their operations.
Yeah.
Right. So if you're a dev shop, you pretty much talk to your customer via Slack shared channels. Like, no, like you won't find any value. But if you're a accounting firm and most of your customer like email in document questions and whatnot, Missive is going to be a game changer, because you can ditch Slack, you can ditch Gmail, you can centralize things. I think like the reason we could do such a horizontal product, and it's true, because if you look at the pie chart of the industries using it, I mean the biggest part is like 6%, I think, something
Wow.
like that.
Yeah.
Retail, like it's like maybe 8, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 7, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5, 4, 4,
Very diverse.
right? Extremely diverse. And then the scale, it's like going from solo users to, I think the biggest team now is 300 seats. So more SMBs, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have like 2,000 people in a business using it. So, and that set us apart from a lot of our competitors who naturally, because they raised so much money, would migrate to an offering for extremely large team, because that's where the money is. Like it's so easier to sell to a 3,000 people team because it's so much money, right? So in our case, we're extremely SMB. But the reason we could, I think, work on a horizontal product that is not niche down again is because we were dog fooding it, right? we kind of knew where not to go and restrain ourselves in some ways, right? So we were building it for people like us. And to a point where when we start to scale the team to 15, it actually helped us because most of our customers, they're not 3 users, right? They're more like 10, 20-ish, 30-ish. And now we're in that sweet spot ourselves, right? So there's a lot of things that before for us, we only had to listen to customer and blindly trust them. But now we're in that same sweet spot.
Right.
So it's still hard. Like those bigger teams, there's a lot of problem they're gonna hit that it's hard for us to empathize because we're not to that point. We need to be more creative, like to put ourselves in their position. Okay, yeah, now I can understand why it's not good.
Yeah. How many hours do you work right now per week on average, you think?
I don't have no idea. I never.
Like standard 40-hour work week, more or less?
I think it would not be an honest answer to say 40. It looks like 40, but it's probably way more because I'm always, like my CTO is always looking for the stack, right? I'm always looking at emails. I'm always looking at inbound communication regardless of the time of the day. So I don't know.
Fair
Maybe
enough.
40 in front of my computer, like normal hours, but then all the rest. So more like 50.
Sure. Are you guys very much affected by this whole AI thing? I do find that obviously every VC funded company seems to be losing their mind.
Yeah.
Either they need to be pivoting to an AI native platform or they need to add some AI powered features ASAP because otherwise they're losing behind. While the bootstrap companies I speak to, and I mean, I had Jason Fried on, they're just a lot more relaxed about it. They're kind of like, is that similar to you guys? Did you guys feel any difference with this?
All right. So for us, like usually when we don't have something people need, we're harassed like every single day. Hey, you guys don't have that. You guys don't have that. Or hey, okay, so we quickly know it. Initially, AI was a bit like that, and Jason Fried said something that I totally agree to. Is like a lot of AI feature will ultimately end up at the OS level, right? And right now, Mac OS is not really good, but all early tech adopters use Raycast because you can kind of shortcut those lack of like AI feature with Raycast, which I think do a stellar job. But initially, that wasn't even the case. And so I think like in 2003, in December, November, when ChatGPT was released, I got really obsessed by it. And I integrated the ability in Missive to use it to reply to emails and pretty much do it with OpenAI. And to that day, that was kind of really good enough for most of our users. The second step was to integrate AI in our rule engine. So we have you can automate a lot of your process using rules in Missive, whether they're triggered by new emails or a people action in the app. And so integrating AI in the conditions and actions was also really powerful. But I feel it's really small intervention because basically AI is it's the easiest API to support. Like it's text in, text out. So I feel the next phase, which will be harder, is have the ability for Missive user to have chat conversation with their inbox. The reason it's harder is just like there's massive cost involved in either pre-processing messages or have all of the piece required to offer that. And I guess it's either we would raise a lot of money to do it right now, or we can just assume that the cost of the tech will just slowly go down. All the tech will mature enough, and then in a year we can build like the perfect version, sustainable version at the right cost, right? So I feel we inject just enough AI right now that our customers are happy, and I feel that the next phase is maybe a year or two down the road where technology is mature enough and whatnot. And I also have that vision, like we don't want to have like Missive AI, a bit like like Notion. Like,
Yeah.
do you know
Add-ons,
somebody
$10 per
that
month. Yeah.
loves Notion AI? It's like, what's Notion AI? We know you don't do any AI, guys. Like, what's behind it? Do you switch models just to save on cost right now? So my vision is like in Missive, it's always going to be like Cursor or a OneSurf. It's like bring your own token, use whatever model. Right now we support only OpenAI models, but the plan soon is to release support for Google, Anthropic, Mistral. Like we have a lot of European customer, and they're like, "Hey, I don't want to use OpenAI. Like I would like to use Mistral." And so I feel like having the ability to use models for different providers is going to be great too. But yeah, not stressed about it, but it's definitely something that is changing society. So yes, it's going to probably change Missive in the long term.
Also. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, no, it's. I don't know if there's anything to it, but the sense that I'm getting is that a lot of VC-backed companies are a lot more fragile when it comes to this AI thing, while the bootstrap companies that I speak to are more like, yeah, some cool things we can do with new features that actually make sense, but we're not really stressed or rushed about it. And, they're not suddenly in an existential
Well, because
crisis.
the VC-backed business, they're trying to grab a place on the rocket ship of AI growth, right? In our case, we're trying to make our customer happy. And it's not something we get a lot, right? And even if we had not integrated AI with like the ability to generate replies, we could have a blog post like, hey, just download Raycast and it's going to do it, right? So like it's not unique to Missive. Like it's like you pretty much need that in all of your apps. So.
Yeah. Cool. Philippe, thank you for your time. If people want to check you out, I'll link up both your LinkedIn and then Missive in the show notes. Anything else that you want to add here, last sentence, or anything I should have asked that I didn't ask?
No, maybe final word is just like some people are probably listening to that and are trying to kind of achieve their dream of launching a product or a business. First, they're struggling at finding what the right ideas, and then they're struggling on sticking to it, right? So I just say to people, like, just assume that it takes a long time and be patient. And yes, fall in love with your idea. Like, work on something you care that you're going to use yourself. I think those are good elements. And even if the long term it doesn't work out, you're probably going to go through mental process that eventually going to lead you to the right spot, right? So don't stress too much about the ideas. And try to work more than like a few months and then just stop and then trying to do something else.
There you go. Love it. Thank you for coming on.
All right. Thanks, Finn.